There were ugly scenes, weren't there, when the Uruguay players were chasing the referee down the tunnel at the end. They obviously felt that they should have had at least one penalty in the game.
Yeah, and I don't agree with them. I thought, in particular, the one where Darwin Núñez was through.
Yeah.
I think there was contact with the player and just enough contact with the ball at the same time, pretty much. And I think that the referee checked it on VAR, he was good with it, and then there was a Cavani one at the end. But, look, you cannot chase the referee, or you should not be chasing the referee. I mean, I think it was a German referee. He smelt what was happening, and he got down the tunnel as quick, but they chased after him.
This challenge, the challenge on Núñez here, what was interesting is, as you mentioned, he was sent to the monitor. And normally we can't think, oh, that's it. You know, he's going to give a penalty, but he stuck to his guns.
I was so pleased because on top of it, we were watching an American television, broadcast, and they were all saying that it was a penalty. So I was so happy to, because I was in my hotel room and I say, no, there is contact with the ball. It doesn't really touch the player. There is no penalty, and that's only fair for me. And the ref did very good in that matter.
Where was all this commitment in the first two games? I mean, you see, all these pictures we've just looked at, and we knew them. The first two games, they were awful. And if they'd been as committed in the first two games as they were to chasing the referee, then we might not be talking about Uruguay going out. It'd be interesting to see if the Uruguayans are going to just moan about the referee, or whether they're actually going to sit down. Are they going to sit down and think about the first two games? Or are they just going to blame that?
It's interesting you bring that up, because they do blame what happened in the second game. This is what the Uruguayan coach had to say. Now, you remember that the second goal that Portugal scored was the penalty that we agreed shouldn't have been given as
was that the
yes, when the player was looking to steady himself, and obviously the ball hit that. We're out because of Portugal's penalty and goal difference. It's not the point, rather to the contrary. We are not out because of that point. It's because of the penalty that was awarded in extra time that, according to FIFA, was not a penalty.
But they're still complaining it wasn't their fault. It doesn't matter. Whether you want to complain about today's decision or the decision previously, they're blaming the referees and they're blaming decisions.
Right.
Because they're going home.
Right.
How about you look at yourself first?
No, but still, Stevie, I can understand the frustration of players because of details. Football is made of details. And if you feel that details come against you all the time. There were the two other actions today where I think there is an obstruction from a Ghana player where he's like 3 yards away from the ball and clearly makes an obstruction to the player. And then we have the Cavani chance at the last 5 minutes of the game where there is contact, like in this modern time to say, but whether it's a penalty, I don't know. You're saying no, I'm saying maybe. You're saying that Cavani is doing everything to get the penalty. That's that action exactly. So at the end of the day, you feel frustrated, and it's only fair and human to complain about that, especially with the penalty that FIFA made.
Every country that gets knocked out of this competition, and every country that gets knocked out in 2018, when I think we first had VAR at major tournaments, and everyone before that, when it was just going down the pub and talking about it over a beer, because we didn't have the technology, and it was just sort of, the bird's eye view at the time, everybody's saying, well, that decision went my way. When Germany will be complaining, Costa Rica will be complaining, Uruguay will be complaining, all these teams going out, Iran and Wales and whatnot. It's not an ideal world we live in.
Right.
And
people are going to make
66,
mistakes.
And I think
the goal of
I'm
Germany.
going to guess we're all in the same boat here. I don't mind sticking up for a team that goes out on decisions if you look at their side and say they've given everything, things just didn't go their way and you feel for them.
That's true.
That's not the case.
No, it's not.
Right.
That is not the case.
But he is factually correct, though, isn't he, Nadim? It's that goal, which FIFA admitted should not have been given as a penalty, cost them.
Kind of. I think within this game today against Ghana, for me, weren't anywhere near their best. And I think if they would have decided to try and push on and get some more goals in that match themselves before realising that they had to, then maybe things could have been different. And it's fair, you can be upset about that decision, but that's a game ago. If you feel you've been wrong, then take it out in the next game. And I think for the Cavani penalty incident, you know, it was only last week when we're hearing from the FIFA Technical Committee how well Ronaldo did to win himself this penalty and how he was a genius. Well, the one today, if that one Ronaldo one was a penalty, then this one surely should be a penalty itself. But still, you know, maybe this is a double standard. But ultimately, they got upset, they get tight about the fact that that decision didn't go their way, but they still could have done more. They could have done more in the first game, the second game, and definitely in this game now, because all of a sudden, when the time was ticking down and they knew they needed to do something, you saw them be more expansive. You saw them show a sense of desperation. Well, maybe that could have started 5 minutes earlier instead of waiting, knowing full well that one goal for South Korea would completely change the setup in that group.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.